Local government is where a lot of services get delivered directly to people, and also is often in charge of quite important infrastructure, depending on the national context and the way that government allocates duties between local and national government. So often for local government, it has a key role in building the resilient infrastructure which countries need, particularly in this era of the climate crisis, which is causing a lot of damage to the infrastructure that we have had in many places. Also, local government is closer to the people by definition. You know, the village council, the local council, the capital may be quite a way away. So people often see their local representatives as the ones who are closest to them and understand them well. I have been to a lot of the Commonwealth Local Government Forum conferences, and before the pandemic they were very regular, and then we've been upset by that like everybody. So Rwanda gathering is a big opportunity for local government from around the Commonwealth to come together again. These are big conferences, they buzz, and they're very relevant to the national, local and global agendas. In the past, the Local Government Forum picked up the Millennium Development Goals and really encouraged local councils to see that as a way of prioritising certain issues. And now with the Sustainable Development Goals, a much broader agenda, the Forum has consistently raised awareness about that and how local government can meaningfully engage with that mission of the goals. So I think it will be a tremendous opportunity for people to meet up again, exchange ideas, best practice, hear about what others are doing, and really be energised by that. Gender equality in politics is important at every level, from the local to the national to the global. Rwanda has done incredibly well with the representation of women in its decision-making bodies. Its parliament has more women as a proportion than anywhere else in the world. So often local government is a stepping stone to nationally elected office. I know in my own country you see women come through the local councils and then they might stand for parliament. So it's a very good training ground, but local government is also meaningful in itself. It does very important work, and it does work that is relevant to women. For example, it was shown that when there was a gender quota put in place in India for women in local councils, the decisions started to change about what was prioritised. The women were very interested in what we call the WASH infrastructure, the water and sanitation infrastructure. The men hadn't been so interested in that, but it's the women who have to walk for the water, so they wanted it in the village. So we have seen, firm evidence that having women in local government will change the priorities of local government and make them better for women. I think in the age of the climate crisis, it becomes very, very important. In my home city of Auckland in New Zealand, we have had, in fact in the North Island of New Zealand, we have had the worst summer ever with huge rain events. For local government, which controls the planning, where do people live, where does the infrastructure go, there is so much to think about how to make your infrastructure and communities more resilient, because no one wants their home flooded. No one wants their bridge brushed away by water. No one wants their roads disappearing down a hillside. And all these things have been happening. Of course, it's happened before, but this has been just such a horrific year. And when we look at what's happening around the world with extreme weather, the excessive temperatures now in parts of Europe and parts of North America, the hunger in Somalia again with the worst drought ever. How many times more do we say that? So back on local government, the issue is how do we build our infrastructures and our communities to withstand these pressures? Young people want space, they want meaningful engagement, they want to be heard, they want to have input. I also think that these days having young people on the local councils, in Parliament. This is a good thing. They don't need to see it as a lifetime endurance, but they can come in, make their point, make their mark, and if they want to, go on to other things or have a longer career. Because just as we want to see women's perspectives in decision making and women's needs taken into account of priorities, so young people, they have needs and desires and wishes and hopes and fears, and they need to be able to express them in the right places. So finding the space for that's very important. The outcome of the Kigali Commonwealth Local Government Forum will go to the heads of government when they meet in the Chogam in Samoa next year. So it is an important conference. The decisions made in November here at the forum will go forward to the leaders. I think sustainable urbanisation will be a big thing, and that's sustainability in a number of ways. It's certainly the climate and disaster resilience, but it will also be talking about the broader balance of sustainable development. You know, we want a clean and green environment, we want clean energy, we want an economy that provides jobs, we want the social services, the education, the health, the safety nets. So what's the magic ingredient for getting all this, and where does local government fit into that? Because again, among those who come to Rwanda, there will be quite a lot of differences in what responsibilities they have. For example, if the Australian states come, they have the competence for health. If the Canadian provinces come, they have the full competence for education. The federal government doesn't even have an education minister. So there'll be a very wide range of local government there, from those who deal primarily with roads and bridges and sort of a sounding board at the local level, to those who make very significant budget allocations.